how people are easily self-hypnotizing or how it can be induced in a simple fashion. There's only a few contexts of gathering information, which is fantastic. What we teach people how to ask very specific questions. Ask for the information you want. It's much easier as opposed to beating around the bush kind of thing. And that's a learned skill. And some of it has to do with people feeling uncomfortable asking specific questions. So you learn to ask those questions so you can get a little bit more specific information from people. And by doing that, you're probably going to hit the point better, even when you communicate it that way. But there's 5 contexts, okay? What, where, how, when, who. And then there's another one called why. But why is totally different. I put that in a different category because why asks for motivation. And most people aren't going to tell you what their motivation is, because then they know you're going to be able to flip that on them, argue with them about it, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's go with the 5. There are 2 that are really important, and actually 3, but for management purposes, I could tell you immediately what annoys people in terms of they're doing their job and being communicated to them by their boss.
Yeah.
It's the people do not mind being told what to do or what needs to be done. They do not like being told how to do it once they've been trained. So when the boss goes in and says, here, I want you to do this job, okay, but listen, here's how I want you to do it, blah, blah, they're off already. They're turned off already. They're shut down, boom. And they haven't even asked them anything yet. So in terms of, again, the communication thing, most people don't mind being told what needs to be, here's the objectives. Now, comes to the strategy, how to do it, let the employee do it. As long as they're trained. Once they're trained, then let them do it. They may not do it exactly. I want you to use your left hand, not your right hand. Oh, come on, you got to be kidding me. What's the difference? All I got to do is push the button, right? What do you care? I could use my toe if I want to. It shouldn't matter to you as long as that button gets pushed on the machine.
If somebody wants to get good at this stuff, very top level question, very simple top level question. If somebody wants to get really good at communication and influence skills, what are 1 or 2 ideas you'd give them? We'll talk about NLP courses later, but what, somebody said, I want to get really good at communication and influence. What are the top things you'd suggest?
I would recommend go learn something about really good specific communication. To me, that's important. You got to practice stuff. It's one thing to get ideas and be motivated. That happens a lot. People get motivated to go do something and learn something. But then how do they kick something in? How do they kick in a plan of action, actually go and learn it? And I find that in a lot of cases, not all cases, but in many, many cases, when you get into upper management, they don't need training. They're not going to go in. They think to themselves, well, not really. I don't need that. I've gotten this far so far in my life. I'm doing well, making good money, blah, blah, blah. I'm running this company. They're getting results, yada, yada, yada. And that might all be true. So maybe they don't need anything new. But there's a whole list of things I could run down and ask them certain questions that might pique their interest in learning more about themselves, first of all. That's part of it. I have people who don't even realize that they overthink and that they drive other people crazy by overthinking, and they create more problems than they solve by overthinking.
Now, I find that fascinating because it's like some of my more intelligent clients are the people that don't do anything because they think of all the reasons why it won't work.
Of course.
So the thinking thing, I'm obviously being a bit mischievous here, but sometimes my sillier clients get much better results.
Sure.
Because they're good at action and they're good at doing stuff.
Well, the chances are, just based on what you commented, is because I love you put something out there and we can link it back to whatever we've talked about so far, is the person who's doing the overthinking and not able to get, whatever, all the reasons why it's not going to work, or they're generating different brain chemistry than the person who's being silly and they're laughing. They're entertaining themselves even, but they're making this different set of neurochemicals. So therefore, they're going to be more creative.